So picture this. It's 1946. The U.S. Navy sends a massive fleet to Antarctica for what they call a scientific mission. But the whispers say they came back with staggering casualties and a story they just couldn't tell. Officially, it was Operation Highjump, the biggest polar expedition in history. But if you listen to the commander's own words, you start to realize something went terribly, terribly wrong. So let's open up this declassified file and see if we can separate the cold, hard facts from the chilling folklore.
This quote really sets the stage, doesn't it? The public was told this was about exploring the great unknown. But what if that unknown was something they were totally unprepared to face? I mean, the official reports talk about extreme hardship for sure, but the unofficial accounts? They talk about a mission cut short, about a frantic retreat, leaving behind a whole lot of unsettling questions buried deep in the ice.
Okay, so the official name was the United States Navy Antarctic Developments Program, 1946-1947. To the rest of the world, this was a mission of peaceful discovery. But you know, when you start looking at the sheer scale of this thing, you really have to ask yourself, was there something else going on here?
Let's just start with the number of people involved. 4,700 men. This wasn't some small team of scientists chipping at ice. This was basically a small army heading to the most hostile and remote place on the entire planet. And the fleet itself? Absolutely massive. We're talking 13 ships. This included an aircraft carrier, the USS Philippine Sea, plus destroyers, tankers, and even a submarine. A submarine!
And to top it all off, they had a significant air wing with them, 33 aircraft. All of this, remember, for what was publicly called a training and scientific expedition. Just looking at the numbers, it feels like this mission was about something way more strategically important.
All right, so the official mission goals, they seem pretty straightforward. Train people, test gear, map the continent. And they did take over 70,000 aerial photos, which is incredible. But then you get to that last point, consolidating U.S. sovereignty claims. Thing is, this part was publicly denied at the time, so right from the get-go, what they were telling the public wasn't the whole story.
Now, whatever the secret purpose of the mission was, one thing's for sure, Antarctica itself was a brutal, relentless enemy. The official reports, stuff from the Center for Naval Analysis, they paint a really grim picture of just how tough it was for the task force.
Yeah, this was not a smooth ride. The ice was absolutely punishing. The official record says 11 ships got trapped in the ice at the same time. The USS Yancey had its steel hull literally punctured. The USS Merrick had its rudder smashed up, and tragically, a seaplane crashed, which resulted in the only 3 officially confirmed deaths of the whole expedition.
And this picture really says it all. This is the task force's submarine, the USS Senate. It got so badly crunched by the ice that its bow was basically destroyed. They had to tow it defeated out of the ice pack. Now remember the Senate, because the unofficial story of what happened to it is, well, it's very different. But for now, this all fits the official story. A dangerous, but otherwise normal expedition.
But this is where the official story really starts to crack. Because when the famous leader of the expedition, Rear Admiral Richard Byrd, came home, what he said in public completely changed the game. It went from a story of exploration to one of, well, urgent national security.
I mean, just let that sink in. This is a stunning thing to say. This isn't some scientist talking about changing weather. This is a decorated naval admiral, right off the ice, issuing this stark warning about a direct military threat coming from the poles. He talked about the cruel reality that in the next war, America could be attacked by planes flying right over the North and South Poles.
And that's the question that changes everything, isn't it? What on earth could he have seen down there that would make him give such a specific and, frankly, alarming warning? What happened in Antarctica to make him talk about hostile polar invaders?
And that very question takes us away from the official history books and straight into a much darker, much stranger version of events. The theory that Operation Highjump wasn't about exploration at all. It was a secret war.
Okay, it's absolutely critical to be clear here. We are now officially leaving the government-documented history behind. The stuff we're about to get into comes from alternative sources, including a supposed Soviet intelligence report. And what they claim happened is a very different story.
So according to these alternative accounts, Admiral Byrd didn't just find icebergs and penguins. No, he allegedly ran into hostile forces.
This quote, which is attributed to him in some of these reports, describes these incredibly advanced aircraft, fighters that could fly from one pole to the other at unbelievable speeds.
And here it is. This is the bombshell claim. The entire task force was supplied and planned for an 8-month mission, but they pulled out after only 8 weeks. The official reason was that winter came early. But these other sources, they claim the withdrawal was a, quote, tactical retreat after getting into a fight with an unknown and technologically superior enemy, a fight that led to heavy and completely covered-up losses.
So what we're left with are two completely separate, totally contradictory stories about Operation Highjump. One is a tale of science and survival against the odds. The other is a tale of a secret battle at the very bottom of the world.
Let's just break it down, side by side. The official record, it was a science and training mission. They had 3 confirmed deaths, and they came home because the weather got too bad. The alternative account, it was a secret military conflict. They suffered heavy secret losses, and they were forced into a tactical retreat. And remember the USS Senate, the sub that was officially damaged by ice? Some versions of this theory claim it wasn't a submarine damaged by ice, but an entire destroyer that was sunk by these hostile forces. Clearly, both of these stories can't be true.
So what really happened down there? Was Operation Highjump a courageous scientific journey that was just cut short by the brutal Antarctic winter? Or was it a secret military operation that stumbled onto something it was never meant to find, forcing a retreat and a cover-up that has lasted for decades? The official files are closed, but the Admiral's chilling warning, that still echoes from the ice. The real answer, it seems, is still buried in that great unknown.